Hello, welcome back. I am happy to be streaming again. I am happy to be back here in my home. Um, it was it was a thing. Also this morning, I got everything done really early, and I was able to start the stream really early, like I don't know, like 10, 15 minutes ago. So I thought I did. I then proceeded to spend quite a while debugging. Why? Why? My stream wasn't live on Twitch. Why I couldn't see it. And turns out that I had pressed the record button on the stream deck as opposed to the actual, go live button. Turns out those buttons do different things. So yes, in important distinction. Also, Zilby's with me today. He's in playful mode. He was playing with me a little bit before while I was debugging. I've got a wand with his with a toy on it, but he's in like the below section, which you can't see with the camera, unfortunately. So this last week was interesting to say the least. I was hoping to be back in streaming essentially last week on, I don't know, like Tuesday morning. I was also hoping to be back at work. Essentially, I was not planning on taking any time off. But my parents were in California, also my sister and her kids, so I was flying out to meet them, and I got caught in that storm, and I was also trying to take the Southwest flights, and they all got canceled twice. So that was fun. So I didn't get back until just a couple days ago, and I needed to sort of relax after being away for so long. Also, poor Zilly, he had to extend his pet sitter emergency last minute, and he did not like being alone. I mean, I guess we had somebody dropping out with him 2 times, but still, not fun to have like something like that happen. This is the longest time we've been away from him. I mean, he's fine, but he was clearly a little bit unhappy. But okay. Are you done? I don't know if I can set up the camera to like watch this play. I'll move you over there. How about this? So yeah, you can almost see it. Sylvie, you're done? Bye? Sort of. All right, then. I'll just leave this here in case he comes back. Okay, so, oh, and I got it. Stacking, hello. How are you doing today? Zilby, we were just playing. You just ran away. Probably wanted me to follow him. All right. Well, let me mute the music. And all right, what are we working on today? It is oh, this is fun. My stream preview is stuck on the starting soon. Audio, it shows audio is going out. You need to slap that with a zoom a few times. Yeah. Okay. Good. Previews back up working again. All right, so if I was not planning on being gone for over a week, that was a fun thing. But now I've sort of forgotten all the fun little parts of updating the solution. I think, did I keep the branch? I did keep the branch. Okay, nice. Okay, so I was nice to myself. So I have this list of things that need to be done in order to update the solution to 0.20. Right. This one I remember it hit us, but it won't hit us again now that I've done it. But we should probably mention it a couple times. What I'm thinking of doing is doing this in a series of videos, but then stitching them together into a single video at the end. Then I can use chapters to sort of move back and forth between them. I think that makes the most sense for this. Let's see. Yeah, and I don't think I need like intros and outros on each of those. It would just be chatting, and then I can do a fade out, fade in for each of them. Let's do that. I've been experimenting with that for some of the XM videos, so it might be interesting to continue that experimentation here. Okay, so I think everything's working. I've got kitty cat cam turned off. And he left. So there's that. And our upgrade guide. So we'll begin. I'll probably do the review at the end. Probably at the end. Okay. Then in that case, updating the solution to 0.2. So I'll I'm here in this. Yeah, I just opened code at the base of the entire project. I think that'll work. I don't think I need to have everything open everywhere. So I can open you up. Oh, I can open you up. Right. Okay. So here we go. Recording the first update solution thingy. I guess we'll do the introduction to it, and then then I'll do the fade out, fade ins to everything. All right. Hello and welcome to a special update guide for the Introduction to U course. It turns out that U 0.20 has released. It's been a while since I've been inside of this project. So it's gonna, we're gonna have to remind ourselves from some things, but 0.20 is a major update for you, which means there's a lot of breaking changes. And I have seen some comments from viewers who are running into trouble because they're accidentally installing 0.20 when the course was done with 0.19. So this entire video is going to be an update guide for updating a project from 0.19 to 0.20, and hopefully it should also provide as maybe a reference for what are the differences? Like how can I just go straight to 0.20, or why did my course do the other thing? So the way this video is going to work, I'm going to put chapters for each sort of section that I'm working on, and I'm going to just do the fade in and fade out. So it's going to be multiple sort of mini video recordings together into one macro video, and hopefully can then be used as a reference. So with that, I will see you in each section. Bye. All right. I don't know how to do outros in those. But that'll be good enough. Also, I need to clean up my video recordings. My first recording this morning. So I think I mentioned it, but I don't think any of you were here. Oh, that was wrong keyword. I got done with my morning routine early, and I was able to start the stream early. So I attempted to do that. Just treat it as one giant video, so don't do an outro. Oh, that's a good point. So yeah, and then just like leave. It's still hard in my brain knowing that there's not going to be a gap in time between the next thing, but like I guess that's how like movie editors and everybody else sort of like the actors have to remember is there is no time, but there is here, but not there later. It's weird. Okay, so this is gonna be updating. My keyboard is far away. I mean, I'll get used to it eventually. I'm sure you can go back to like the original courses that I was doing, and they were much worse. Okay, so this is the updating EU part 1. Okay, so set Docker to run Express server and the database. But then we might have this Docker system prune thing that we have to do as well. All right. I feel like this got out of position too. Okay. Let's do it. The first thing we're going to need to do is to set up Docker to run our Express server and the database. So if we take a look, I've got code open up for the entire project right now. So if I take a look at our Docker compose file, we have our database here. That does not have any profiles, but our Node.js Express server does. So here, I want to use this profile. I'm going to copy you. We're going to do a Docker dash compose. We have to do the Docker dash compose here because this was made in an older version that doesn't recognize it if you use Docker space compose. Okay, so Docker dash compose, we want profile that up. Let's dash D, and I'll do a wait on it. So that way we'll wait for everything to start. Now, if this fails for some reason, there's a command that we can do called Docker system prune, which can remove anything that's, it basically removes any cruft. So if there's old stuff that is causing everything to not work properly, then this might fix it. Okay, so you're all supposedly working. Let's do a Docker PS. Okay, so I have Postgres. You're up and running. We have Express, Node.js Express. That is up and running. And our API tests. So our API tests are attempting to run locally. And it's up right now. Let's get a logs on that. So Docker compose logs. This is what, API test. And we found a bunch of address not founds. And that is, let's see. So a bunch of address not founds. I wonder, well, one thing is we don't necessarily, like, I was running a bunch of these tests locally, I believe. And let's see, if you can't find them, then that is where? Okay, hold on. Stopping that recording because I completely forgot what we did to fix that. So I might have to re-record that one. Bullfirst Dad, hello. What did I do to fix this? So address not found. My front end. No, this is the back end. This is testing the back end. Okay. You're on port 3000. And then API test, you're looking for port 3000. Okay, you should be fine. You do not have a health check. Out of curiosity, are you... Where's my... There. Oh, so that's a 404 not found. So that's fine, actually. Create user. Oh, yeah. So, okay. So the server is working just fine. It's just these didn't work. I wonder if I try to run this again. So what would that be? Docker compose. There's a restart API something. API test. I think I can also do like a -F for follow. Are you even trying at this point? Oh yeah, that's not even restarting it. Okay. If we look at okay, so you're thinking you're running healthily. Oh, the database is the only one running. Wait a second. If you're the only one running, how is everything else running? Yeah, this is working. Come on. And I rebooted right before the stream. So that should be fine. Node.js Express, that's fine. API test is this one. Now this one, it says it's still up. Oh, so it's never... Do I need to tell it to go down? Start. Oh, no such service API test. Hmm. Maybe I don't have to care about these API tests. Maybe, yeah, maybe I just don't care about it. Because if this is working, and we can then run this with Thunder Client, okay, then maybe that's all I care about. Okay, so let me try recording that again. Okay, so I want to do a Docker compose. Docker compose down. You are okay. Oh, this thing again. Failed to remove the network. Oh, maybe I do need to do that entire sort of thing. Well, that's fun. Can't I get a Docker compose status? Oh, it's not. Okay. It's PS. And you're all still up. So we have some cleanup to do. So let's try re-recording this again. But this time I'll just do the cleanup thing where I just remove all the stuff from it. That'll be fine. Okay. Here we go. Take 2. The first thing we're going to want to do is set up Docker to run our backend and run the database. Now we have a Docker compose file for it, but it's been a long time since I've run this. So if we're running into any troubles with that, we probably want to just do a full reset. And I was having a little bit of trouble, just sort of like in preparation for this video going at. So let's just do that live here. So first of all, I want to do first Docker compose PS. Okay, so none of this is running. That's fine. Docker PS. Now I have, if none of those things are running, but these are still running, well, that's not a good thing. Like we want, this is supposedly part of Docker compose, so I want to take this all down. So let's stop L. Now for me, I'm okay with this. I'm going to stop all of my running Docker containers. If I do a Docker ps-a, that shows me literally everything, and it's just these two things. So I'm going to do a Docker stop. I could use the names or the container IDs. This is a little bit faster. So stop both of you. Okay, so if I do a Docker ps-a, you're... Okay, yeah, so you're exited. Now I can remove them. So I'm actually going to change that stop to an RM. And that deletes the two containers. So now if we look at it, they're all gone. Okay, let's also take a look at networks, because that's another thing that sort of hangs around and causes problems. So we have a Docker network ls. Specifically, This one here is supposed to be removed when we do a Docker compose down, but for some reason this is sort of remaining up. So I'm going to do a Docker network remove and you. Okay, so that's gone. Excellent. We have some volumes too. Docker volume ls. Okay, so here is the volume for my full stack sudo rest course. This one probably is less of a reason that you have to remove. I'm going to go ahead and remove it so it's just a full reset. The volume stores the data in the database. So as soon as we delete this, all that data is gone. I only have sort of like the test data in there, so I don't really care. But this is also one you don't necessarily want to delete just everything on until you know exactly what you're deleting. Okay, so we're going to do a Docker volume remove and this. Okay, so that's good. And then just to make sure there's no like corrupted images or something, I'm going to remove the images too. So Docker images. Now I only have these 3 ones, so it's not really that big of a deal. But let's go ahead and remove these. I'm going to do a Docker RMI, so remove images, and then it's going to be the image ID or the full name. So I don't believe any of these have any requirements with each other. So no, that's pasted the previous thing. I want you, and you. Okay, so that deletes all of you, and now I don't have pretty much everything is reset. Now I've also run into a problem where running this Docker system prune can also sort of make things a little bit better. So I'm going to just go ahead and run this as well. It's going to remove, it's going to remove all stop containers, all networks, all dangling images, and a build cache, which is probably the most important one here. Now, I guess I didn't really need to manually remove all those myself. This would have done it. So I'm going to go ahead and say yes. Okay, so that also reclaimed 5 gigabytes of space, 5.5 gigabytes of space. So that's nice. All right, let's start this up. So we're going to do a Docker compose. I'm going to do a profile Node.js express. This was in my previous history here. I'm going to bring it up. We'll give it a daemon mode and wait for it to complete. So, okay. Get that going. It's going to re-download the images from Docker Hub, build the images into containers, and then launch those. Guess that didn't exactly make sense. It's downloads the images, builds new images. So downloads the required images, builds new images for this specific Docker compose files, and then launches containers from those images. That's I think a little bit better. Okay, so everything seems to be working, and then what I can do to sort of verify this, we're going to come over to Thunder Client. I'm going to go to our hello world. That should work. It's a 404. I'm not actually sure what the route is supposed to be. Let's do this post create user. So if I create a user with this very random username, that worked. Okay, so that is going to localhost 3000. I don't have anything else up on that port, so this should be it. And that's working. Excellent. Other potential reasons that like the database could be failing or weirdness with that, make sure you don't have a database already running on port 5432, I believe is what Postgres is on. If you have a local one on that, you're going to get weirdness because that's the port we're exposing in here. There are ways around that, but that's outside the scope of this video. All right. I don't know if it's good to end on all right. I sort of do that a lot. It's one of my verbal tics, I think. But okay, so I finished that recording. Everything's up here. I'm not even checking on the, I'm curious about those tests. I think that the tests just are broken right now, which is not great. So it'd be what? Docker compose. Yeah, we're just getting this. I don't think that's necessarily a. Oh, it's trying to connect to Rust Axum. That's why. Oh, it's going to the wrong server. Okay. Well, then that's fine. I'm glad I'm glad we were recorded and not paying attention to it. Okay, so that's that one. Let's Okay, so that first one we ignore. And the second one, we rename you to updating you part 2. Okay, so I probably shouldn't do, so the other one was an introduction. This is setting up Docker. And this one is introduction. Okay. Next. We have that. We want to start our front end. We want to start our front end and we want to make sure it's all working and then run our tests. Okay, so we want to start our front end and run the tests. All right, let's do it. Okay, next we're going to start our front end and run our tests. So let's cd into the appropriate directory here. So I'm at the root of the entire sort of repo, and this is a monorepo. So we have our front end Rust U, and then I'm going to my solution for this. So I have a lot of stuff in here. I'm not going to update you yet. I want to make sure that everything is sort of working as it is right now. So I want to see passing tests. I want to see the project that works, and then go from there. If things are broken now and we update, we won't necessarily know if they're still broken at the end because of the update or not. Okay, so I want let's do a trunk serve. Okay, so you're running at localhost port 8080. Let me launch Firefox. Localhost 8080. Okay, so this is working. Okay, great. Now can I create a new account? I want that. Yeah, okay. So that seems to be fine. Let's now launch Cypress. So Cypress, unfortunately, we have to do outside of Docker if we want to see it running, which does mean we have to have Node.js installed. So I'm going to go ahead and open up a new terminal here because this one is being taken up by trunk. We're going to cd. See, I'm on the root still. So I'm going to cd into integration tests, front end tests. Here's where that Cypress is. I'm going to do an npm. I have Node.js 18 installed. That may be a little bit while since I did this. So I'm going to just do an npm install. Make sure that everything is installed here. I'm going to then do an npm. I don't remember if I never set up a script for this. So we're going to do an npx Cypress open. And that will open up Cypress in its own window. Okay, so it is telling us we have to update Cypress. So we have to migrate the existing specs. We recommend automatically renaming your specs in a step. Here's why. Okay, so do this. Okay, so rename the specs for me. And rename the support file. Okay. Migrate to the new Cypress configuration file. Okay, that should still be fine. Let's do the end-to-end testing because you're configured. I'm just going to go ahead and open this in Electron. Okay, and let's run our to-do tests. And let's see, so far everything seems to be passing. And oh, that error message displays. Now this error message does wait for 31 seconds, but it's just making sure that it fades away. Okay, so everything is working. We've updated Cypress and we got the front end all up and working. Okay, so that's good. I'm happy about that. Let's see. That is everything we need to do for Cypress. Okay. This is updating you part 3. I guess like running Cypress or testing, testing, starting server and testing. Okay. Now add in Rust workspace. I'm not. Oh, are we going to have to do this? We're probably going to have to do this, aren't we? Twisted Seed, hello. How are you doing today? Okay, so yeah, this one is going to be, we wanted to start the, so we've got it running with a trunk serve. Oh, right. I remember now. U is going to have a fit, isn't it? Sorry, Rust Analyzer is going to have a fit when I open it up. So if I open up solutions, not exactly a new video series. This is a short series of videos that's going to be stitched together into a single video that's updating the U solution project to 0.20. Right, so if I open up U, yeah, you failed to discover workspace. Okay, so then we have to fix that. We fix that by creating a cargo.toml down here. And I forget. We're gonna do a workspace. I think I can do just like paths in there so it knows where to find it. So I don't have to do like all the way throughout. Like a cargo.toml on each folder. So that'll be the next thing is launching I guess like setting up Rust Analyzer. So setting up a Rust workspace. Okay. In the meantime, though, my water is cooled down enough that I can take my supplements. Okay, so next up. I think this is going to be the one last thing before we can start doing the thing. Okay. One last thing before we can update our U version to 0.20. We need to set up Rust Analyzer to work with a cargo workspace. So what do I mean by that? Well, because I opened this entire project up from the root of everything, it's going to cause problems for us. So if I open up, let's say, our live.rs inside of here, I'm not really getting help from Rust Analyzer. And if I tell Rust Analyzer to try to start, it tells me that it's failed to discover this workspace. Okay, well, what does that really mean? Rust Analyzer is expecting that our Rust workspace is always going to be at the root of the project. So we have to create a new cargo.toml here. And I want a workspace like that. So workspace members equals, okay, so for the members here, this is going to be what are the different Rust projects that are now going to be part of this. So I'm here in the root. I want to be in front end. So front end slash Rust slash U slash solution. Let's see if this works. So if I open Lib up again, you did not work. Okay. I was hoping that worked. It's also root scan 0 to 0, so I don't know if it's waiting to sort of see things. And what are you called? You're just called solution. So I wonder. Oh, this definitely goes to solutions. Members. All right. Canceling that recording. I thought that's what we did. I thought that's what we did to get it working, but apparently not. All right. So I don't think I can just call it solution, right? Oh wait. Is that right? And all I had to do was like restart VS Code. Probably should have quit all my stuff first. Okay, so let's restart. What were you doing? You were doing trunk serve. You're not doing anything at all. Oh, you're running Cypress, which means I need a Docker compose up again. And the important one, that's exactly what I need to do, is restart. Okay. I think, right? You're running now? Oh yeah, okay, you're running now. So, ended that fairly awkwardly. I want to do a jump cut. I'll just re-record that one. So let's restart Cypress. So we're doing the exact same thing. This time I'll nicely quit them. I'll just let that do its thing in the background. Okay. And okay, so this cargo.toml gets deleted. So what are my changes? This cargo.lock is at the root. And so if I attempt to open you up, you should fail. Yeah, you should fail now. Okay, excellent. All right, let's take 2. Oh, NeoVim setup stream when? It's on my list. I'm thinking we could do that maybe after we get this updated. We could try one. I haven't set up a Vim in a very long time, and everything seems like so new and different. I did I played with some stuff with Vim before, like packages and modules, and that blew my mind because when I was a sysadmin, I just used vanilla Vim and I didn't realize that you could install plugins for it. They probably were then at that point in time. I just didn't realize it because none of my coworkers ever used it, and that's when I first started using Vim. So now, yeah, we can take a look into it. It might be really good. So we can like we could take a full stream for it. Okay, so that's part 2 or take 2. Before we can get into updating u.rs to 0.20, we need to make sure that we can actually use Rust Analyzer, because that's going to be really, really helpful for us when we're doing that upgrade and fixing all the problems. So if I go ahead and I open up, let's say in front-end Rust U solution source lib, I don't get any help here, and then Rust Analyzer is telling me that I can't discover the workspace. Well, what gives? What's the problem here? Well, it's because when I initially recorded the videos, I opened up this project just on its own in VS Code. And when you do that, Rust Analyzer sees that there's a cargo.toml in the root of the VS Code and says, oh, okay, I know exactly where that is. Unfortunately, I have opened up VS Code at the root of the entire project this time, and now it has no idea where to go. So we can fix this. I'm going to go ahead and create a new cargo.toml here at the root of the entire project. And I have a snippet for this. So we create a workspace here with members, and the members is going to include exactly what directories are going to include a Rust project. So in this case, we're going to start with front end, Rust U solution. And then it's right inside of there. Okay, so if I hit save, now the problem is Rust Analyzer still doesn't really know this. It's attempting to find it, but it's not really being very successful with it. We need to restart VS Code. Unfortunately, we got all these things up and running. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over to Cypress. Let's quit U. Exit out of U. Let's quit trunk. Exit out of U. I'm going to close all these windows and reopen VS Code in the root project. And just to check to make sure, hey, is this working or not? I'm going to go ahead and open up this lib. Rust Analyzer is attempting to work. It's not yelling at me that it couldn't find anything. And so any second now, we should get some help here. Maybe. It's not yelling at me. Sometimes, oh, there it goes. It does take a little bit of time when it first launches. So we are now getting Rust Analyzer help. Let's go ahead and set up everything else so we don't forget about it. Now, the Docker Compose, because I set that as a -D, that should still be running. So I don't need to restart that. What I do need to do is restart the Cypress and the trunk server. So let's do trunk first. So we're going to go into front end, Rust U solution. We'll do a trunk serve. You are we have a new problem here. Okay, so looks like Rust project used to create this WASM file is linked against a version of WASM Bison that uses a different bindgen format than this binary. You should be able to update the WASM binary dependency with this, or you can update the binary with this. Okay, so let's try this one here. So cargo update. Nope. Oh, paste. There we go. We updated that, and now let's trunk serve view again, and that is still failing. Let's try exiting out and starting a new terminal again, just to make sure it's not any like old versions that are hanging around. We'll do cd into since it's gonna be front end, Rust U solution, serve. Okay, well that first one didn't work, so let's try this next one. Cargo install U. Okay, that's a lot better. Previously, I didn't get any sort of update information, so maybe it wasn't actually updating it. Okay, so and it successfully updated. Let's go ahead and run our trunk server again, and you failed. Yeah, so we're on 0280, but the Rust WASM file schema version. So the Rust project used to create this WASM file was linked against version of WASM bindgen that uses a different bindgen format than this binary. Okay, man, Take-Two is doing so well. What happened? Why did this suddenly pop up? Did I delete? I deleted the I deleted the cargo.lock file, didn't I? And that caused this? It feels strange. What did I do wrong? So we did the cargo install. That should work. It did install it. I restarted the terminal. My current working directory. Okay, so I'm in Rust use solution. So I am inside of here that has these things. And then I do a trunk serve. It should work, right? Let's do the good old Google there. Oh, we should probably add in that we're using U 0.20. Actually, we're not. We're on U. Doesn't matter. We're on U. So maybe this one. That looks similar, but not exactly the same. But the versions are different, but the message is the same. Oh, you have to install cargo install Wasm Bindgen CLI version. So we're gonna force it. Oh, it's the CLI. Oh, it's the CLI because this is. I was doing this right here. Never mind. I did do that. You're saying that you need 283. All right. I wonder because I did everything else was working. I wonder if I can do a I'll do a cut from like finding this problem, skipping like the I don't know what's going on, and then this one. So I'll continue. I'll do this as like part 4.1 or 2 or something like that. All right. So that's all right. I found a an error, like a potential other person who has this exact same error. I required you in the search when I was googling this, and let's see. Looks like they are suggesting that we do the cargo install -f wasm bindgen CLI, which is exactly the same that we see right here. But then we set what the version should be. So let's try that. Now here it wants us to go to 0283. So I'm just gonna update you to 0283. Let's try you and see if this is any better. Updating this creates IO index. We just installed the other one. I wonder if it didn't get the previous, like the correct version the last time we did this. Well, it's certainly installing something new now. Okay, so that has Now it replaced package one gem bind in CLI 0283 with 0283. I wonder if it did more things. Let's try a trunk serve again. And that did not work. Okay. Next, so the next thing that I think of trying, let's head to the Uterus webpage. They have that entire sort of getting started. Let's make sure that all of these are updated. So I'm just going to rerun these. It should show that they're already there. So, yep. Okay, so that's up to date. Let's do a Rust up update too. Yeah, I don't have any. My Rust version is the latest version still, so that's fine. We can reinstall trunk again. Use force to override. So let's do. Can I do dash force here? Okay, so let's reinstall trunk. Keep on forgetting how long trunk takes to install, because you only install it like once in a actually I only install it once in a system, but then it usually just works fine. Okay, any second now. It's on the last. It's on trunk. And looking at this, yeah, next steps will be then running it. So building it. We then should be able to do a trunk serve. So we'll try that again after this. Okay, now we're on the solution. Let's try a trunk serve. And you're still failing here. Okay. Stop the recording. Let's I think am I going like the wrong direction here? What's going on? Why did this work beforehand? If I remove Okay, so if not that cargo tunnel, if I don't say to go into solution, let's say, you're going to here. Yes, I know, Rust Analyzer, you're upset because you can't find the thing anymore. But now if I do a trunk serve, okay. Failed to load manifest for workspace member. Okay. So if I go into, if I don't have any members. Can I do a trunk serve? Oh, wait. Okay. Can I do a trunk serve outside at the root here? Yeah, error getting to the index.html. If I copy, so that would be what? Front end Rust U solution index.html to here. Yeah, okay. Cannot find the root package of the target crate. So that didn't work. Was this okay? So next thing, if I remove the cargo toml and then I cd into front end Rust use solution. Yeah, that works. So it's by having when I have the cargo toml there, that doesn't work. Okay, so I think we need to do a little bit of research here. We now know what the problem is, but I want to re-record that because I don't want to have to go through that entire long thing to discover it's something completely different. So I want trunk RS. I have dark mode on. Why are you? Yeah, trunk RS. Do you have anything for us here? Can I configure you? Don't want a proxy. This is not really. I wish that you would actually tell me all of the options that you had. Maybe that's commands. I could do a clean. Okay, so let's try resaving you again. So if I do a trunk serve, we should run into the same problem. We do, okay. If I do a trunk clean serve. Okay, no, so that's the same problem. So you're saying now those things are running locally. It just can't find the project? See if there's a issue for this. So project, or no, workspace. Workspace is what it is. Support for workspaces. You can specify binary and indexed HTML file. Mine looks like this right now. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. I want this in the solution. We'll throw this in here. This is, okay, so rel rest, data type main, cargo.toml. Right, okay, so that's local to all this stuff. Or cargo.toml is still there, you're still failing. New errors. Okay, we're moving forward, maybe? No binary target named debugger client. Okay, yeah, so data bind debugger. I don't actually know what my client is called. Previously when I was running, it's here. Is it just gonna be solution? Oh no, we're back to this again. Okay, so it found it. That's not what I want. And if I go back to the root of the project, oh, it would be, I have to do that in the other index, HTML. Error from HTML pipeline. Could not find the root package of the target crate. Okay, so the root package of the target crate. So main href. Okay, so this is going to be front end Rust U solution cargo.toml. Data bin solution. Same problem. Have I heard of Leptos? Heard it's more performant than you. You wanted to learn either you or Leptos, and you wondering if you plan on doing something with that. Also, hello, Cheese. I have heard of it. Yeah, so some people have suggested that I look into it. It seems pretty good, as in like it seems like it's gonna do some really fast compilation type stuff. Um, so what my plan is right now, I'm building a sort of like an LMS course. So that's, and I'm gonna be building that in U because I want to get really good at that. But then I also want to take a look at these other ones too. So I'm probably gonna stay with you for a while, but I definitely will look into Leptos and potentially create little micro courses on it, depending on how much I like them, how far they are in their respective sort of fields, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's it's a long way of saying yes, I will eventually look at it, but it might be a little while before I get to it, like a few months, because I need to build this first full project out first. Okay, okay, let's try a cargo clean. Let's do cargo clean on this. I knew a trunk serve. You've been playing with Deoxys. Nice. Okay. So I'll be adding all of these to my to sort of like my system. What I'm trying to do is like get one that I'm really, really good at and then working with the rest of the stuff. Okay, so you failed here. That's cool. Let's go back to front end Rust U solution. Do a cargo clean here, a trunk clean, and a trunk serve. You've been playing with Daxa, true winner. I think Leptos will take the lead, but it's super early stage, and it's a bus factor of 1 right now. Bus factor of 1 is dangerous. The main guy is known as a legend in the Rust community. Okay, that's good. This problem again. Okay. Well. We may have to rethink this because this is not working the way we wanted it to. Oh, bus factor. Okay, yeah. So cheese bus factor is a common term in the software industry. It's fairly dark. It's very dark humor. It stands for how many members of the team can be hit by a bus and therefore not be able to like actually do any work before you're completely screwed. So in this case, Leptos has a bus factor of 1, meaning that if one person were to not show up, disappear, then the entire project is screwed and it's over. It's done. Typically, you want to have a large bus factor. You want basically the bus factor to be minimum like maybe 3 or 4 people, because that way people can take vacations. They can just sort of like, I don't feel like doing anything today. Somebody else is going to take up the slack. At a workplace, this is really, really important. I would argue that this is even more important in open source, where just life happens and you just can't necessarily work on a project anymore. And or you don't want to like have to treat this as work unless you're being paid for it. So yeah, it's not great. All right. I think so, like having only one Horcrux. Exactly. So personally, I've been trying to refactor, restate, rebrand the bus factor as a vacation factor to sort of help remove a lot of the negativity of it. So like, hey, we want our people to go and be able to take a multi-week vacation whenever they want, whenever they're feeling burned out, and to come back feeling super strong. So a vacation factor in my mind like solves that problem. Like, okay, tech lead, back end person wants to go take a 3-week vacation. That's fine. There are plenty of other people that can do the work. I guess another thing is this factor doesn't mean that you're going to be just as fast. It just means that you're capable of. So yes, you'll slow down because maybe your best person isn't on the job anymore, but you still have people that could do the work. That's like what really matters. Okay. So this isn't working. I think what we're going to have to do is completely pivot this. I don't know if this, let's see. So what we do for these videos, I was working on the assumption that we can have the entire thing opened up together, and that's not the case. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to reset. I'm going to start the videos over again. I think the introduction is fine, but then we're going to open up the solution only in VS Code. I'm going to remove this cargo.toml on the outside and then go from there. Look at Rocket and Actix Web. They both had the bus factor of 1 and both got burnt out and almost single-handedly set the community back to the dark ages. Luckily, the Tokyo team happened to be working on a web framework when it happened. Yeah. And Actix, that had a sort of like a kind of a good ending to it. It was really, really negative and toxic for a long time. But Actix is still live. It's very well, and it has a vacation factor of I don't know exactly what it is, but it's definitely more than 1 now. Rocket, I believe, still has a vacation factor of 1, and the person that does take vacations quite a bit from it because they're busy with life, and you can actually see that in the Rocket repo. There's not very many pull requests that are brought in. It's too much for one person to work on, and it's very hard to get new changes in there. So the framework has slowed down significantly. Otherwise, I do believe that Rocket might actually be one of the best ones out there if it had a really good team behind it. I assume most crates, including major ones, have a low bust factor, or are you wrong? I would guess that a lot of small projects are a factor of 1. Like, for example, all of my stuff is a factor of 1. If I disappear, none of it's being updated. My courses won't be updated. Like, I'm the only one that have push abilities to my repo. I'm the only one that has the keys to like update my YouTube videos. So yeah, like this entire thing is a factor of 1. Um, uh, but that's also not necessarily a bad thing early on. It's just when you start getting a lot of traction and a lot of people using it, that's when it's like, okay, we should set up some backups. You read somewhere that the maintainer of Rocket doesn't have time to maintain it. He's busy with work and personal life. And that's what I mean. Is like, that's why I don't want it necessarily to be a bust factor type thing. It's a factor of something. I personally like vacation factor, but it could be a life factor too. Doesn't Actix Web GitHub say they're officially back in maintenance mode? Oh, are they back in maintenance mode? Oh, okay. I haven't been there in a little while, so that's too bad. I know they recently updated, didn't they? Or is my sense of time really off right now? Okay. People are moving to Axum. Yeah. I do notice that a lot of people are using that, going through that course, and I'm getting a lot more traction on that one than I did on you. So that's super good. Okay. So what do I want to do? I want to open up the README and the solution. So I want solution README. Oh, is it not solution? Is it you README? Yeah, okay. So we're not going to do this. We want to start the front end, run the Cypress tests, update Cypress. But then the big sort of note here is going to be open the solution only in VS Code. All right. I'm probably going to be, so do any of you listen to Syntax, the podcast? Scott Tolinsky is one of the hosts of that, along with Wes Boss, and they both create courses for I guess like full stack, but a lot in the web dev area. Scott has sort of made himself famous of rebuilding his entire LMS system with whatever new technology he's teaching. So he's rebuilt it like 5 times now. I'm probably going to be the same thing. I'm trying to get really good at you. And then later on, if something else comes better, I'll probably rebuild the entire thing in whatever that new thing is too. So that's how I'm going to get really good at all the things. Thank you, Cheese, for hanging out today. I'm probably going to be stopping pretty shortly anyways, because I need to move on with the rest of my day. The only thing that's driving you crazy about Deoxys is the documentation. They have 4 docs. One has docs and props, but the other 3 don't. So you have to flip through all 4 docs to find which one has the section you need. The UDocs are much better now. They've improved quite a bit. So I am looking forward to. I'm hoping, and so this is like my future like planning mode. I am hoping that with this sort of LMS that I create, I will be able to create high quality courses fairly quickly and make them sort of like small. So I can do one on Daxus, one on Leptos, one on like, a new version of Vue, and I can sort of mix and mash them together. So I'm really hoping that I can then do that. And it won't matter what the LMS is built in. If it's built in Vue and I don't like it anymore, then I can rebuild. Otherwise, I'll just like, it doesn't matter as long as it works is the most important thing. All right, well, I am unfortunately going to remove all but the introduction video, and we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. Well, actually, the Docker might be fine too. Okay, introduction, Docker is fine. Updating, okay, starting the server and testing, that's what we have to redo tomorrow. And I'm just going to say like, okay, we're going to open up VS Code in the solution because that's just going to be the only way. All right. So with that, everybody, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I will, let's see, today is Monday, so I'll be back tomorrow for more recording this. So with that, have a great Monday and see you next time. Bye.